Okay, so we've done the hard work of making our connections and providing evidence. And remember, that's something that we should be able to do with all of the similarities we listed in our chart. So now we're going to work through writing an analytical paragraph, and I provided some sentence stems down here, or framework down here for you to use. Now, although that you will not be writing an analytical paragraph for STAR, being able to make those connections and providing the textual support to defend your connections is going to be a key skill that will be assessed on the test. And if you're able to do this type of writing and do this type of analysis, you should be able to answer any question that gets thrown at you about connecting selection. So that's why we're going to work through this paragraph together. Okay, so you may have to change, and I gave you a little hint. You may have to change the words around a bit in your sentence frames to help you get across your ideas. So your actual ideas and your analysis are more important than the stems that I gave you. So keep that in mind. Okay, so in both Lost by Bruce Ignacio and the very long article title, the idea of, so now we're looking for our similarity. Okay, so down below, we're going to actually write out our answer. In both Lost by Bruce Ignacio and Peruvian Government, I'm going to put a little ellipses, which lets us know there's more there, but we're leaving it out for the sake of space. The idea of, okay, so we're to our first blank of our sentence frame. So here we're looking for our similarity. Well, good news, we've already done all of that hard work, the young little scholars that we are, and made that connection. So we know maintaining your culture and heritage despite outside influences is a connection, a similar connection between the two. So down here, have the idea of maintaining your heritage. Okay. The idea of maintaining your heritage, that's the similarity, is important because, and then we need to explain why that's important. Okay, and both of them talk about your history kind of being the makeup of who you are. In the case of the speaker in Lost, it's that he really did not understand and didn't know his history and kind of dreamed about what could be or what was. And in the article about the indigenous languages, it was about trying to preserve your history and culture because it's who you are and that's the rich fabric of your life. So I'm going to say because your history is part of who you are. Okay, so that's why our connection is important. Okay, so next we're going to use our evidence from Lost, which we've again already done that hard work. So in Lost, we need to restate the idea we're talking about, which is kind of understanding your past. Understanding your past. Okay, and I've got a little sentence stem up here, so use it as needed, is a major element of the poem. When the speaker says, so we're going to have a little lesson in how to embed this quote because it's going to trip us up a little bit if we try to use the exact quote. So the exact quote says, I wish the whole place would come to a standstill. Well, we're talking about the speaker, so I doesn't make sense. We can call the speaker he. So the speaker says he Now that is not part of the poem, okay? So you keep that outside of the quotation, then we embed our direct quotation here. He wished the whole place would come to a standstill. Okay, so now we need to restate that earlier idea again. So this is, if you guys have been doing L2, L1, L2 wraps with your class, this is going to be your follow-up L2. Okay, so restating that earlier idea. So the modern world can be overwhelming, okay? So this is where I'm going to have to change my sentence stem because demonstrating how essential the modern world can be is not really what I want to say here. So I'm going to get rid of that. Demonstrating how overwhelming the modern world can be. Okay, we're going to do it one more time, and this time with the article. So, like the speaker in Lost, we're going to restate our earlier idea, okay, which is kind of that commitment to culture. So, in this case, commitment to indigenous culture, because that's what we see in the article. Indigenous culture. Okay, look back up at your sentence stem, is key because now we need evidence from the article, which we already have, because modern society is wiping out many Native peoples' way of life. Okay, and that conveys, so which conveys, and then we need to restate the earlier idea. So, um, which conveys, I'll go with the consequences. So when you wipe out many native peoples, that's some deep consequences for not maintaining heritage. So conveys the consequences of not maintaining heritage. Okay, so that kind of seems like a long analytical answer, paragraph. But by being able to do something like this, which used to be called a short answer response, but now it's just showing analysis. It's showing that you can make inferences, you can draw conclusions based on both texts and make connections between those two texts, and then use evidence from both of those texts to support that answer. So once you are all done with this, you'll be ready to move on to a practice, some practice pieces, and do the same in your practice.